Father Bob Stokig, rector of the Guardian Angel Cathedral in Las Vegas, Nevada, coming to you with another of our reflections on the readings this week for the 23rd Sunday in Ordinary Time, September 2020. We invite you to subscribe to our video channel so you'll be kept updated as new content, both spiritual and musical, gets posted. In the meantime, we hope you are keeping well. The gospel this week reminds us how differently Jesus sees relationship than our world does. He gives a way in which the community can be reconciled when someone transgresses against someone else. And while this is a recipe to restore and reconcile within the community, I think it gives us lots of food for thought for the way in which our world is different. For example, in our world, if someone offends you or does something you don't like, the pattern more typically is first you talk about them behind your back, then you post on social media what a jerk they are, and if anybody disagrees with you, you tell them they are evil. How different that is from Jesus' vision, where you begin with the person with whom you have the disagreement. And yet I know that reconciliation is hard. If it weren't hard, we'd probably be doing it more often. Sometimes when we're hurt, we keep that inside ourselves and just fume. And more often than not, we do everything we can to avoid dealing with the person with whom we have the disagreement. At the core of the gospel, Jesus' message about the kingdom of God is always about being in right relationship. So this week, along with the letter to the Romans from Paul that reminds us of the great rule of loving one another, we're reminded that our task to be faithful followers of Christ is always to move toward reconciliation. And so the gospel brings us challenge. Paul brings us the great reminder of love. And this week, I invite you to think about what that means in your own life. And perhaps some ways to reflect on that might involve how much do you talk to those who have hurt you as opposed to talking about those with whom you've had a disagreement? And do you hold grudges? I have a lot of Irish blood, and I know one of my favorite sayings about the Irish is the definition of Irish Alzheimer's is you forget everything but the grudges. Working through toward right relationship is what the gospel calls us to. And finding ourselves on that path, though it's difficult, makes us open to God's grace that we might be vulnerable to work with someone with whom we disagree. That's great food for thought, particularly in our times when our world is so polarized, reminding us again that we're called to be people who bring that image, that hope of reconciliation into the world for the life of the world.